Well, let's get my hat on, go to work. Yep. But here's something to think about. You know, we've been talking about all the different religions and how many there are and how they were all formed and who did what with what, but there's a need, as we said last week, there is a need within each one of us that we want to express that God thing. And that brings you to the question, well, what is God and where is God and who is God? Those are pretty good questions. I've had a lot of them asked. Well, everybody wants to worship. That's a good word, worship. Meaning, it doesn't mean just bow down and scrape and waddle in your whatever. What it does mean, though, is to admire, respect, and love. Love's the key word there. I don't think God, if he needed to be worshipped, he couldn't be God. God is self-sustaining. God is eternal. God, as it says in more than one place in that holy book called the Bible, God is spirit and must be honored or worshipped in spirit. Meaning that from within you, whatever that little spark is in you that gives you that life and distinguishes you from the corpse in the ground or in the fireplace, whichever the case may be, it's spirit. No, not a soul. Now we're going to talk as this series goes on about the difference between a soul and a spirit, and there is a difference, big difference. But there's a spirit. So if God is spirit, that means he has no shape, no size, no color, no gender. No, it's just God. It's just an intelligent energy. Now, the whole universe is God. And it's the expression of God. It's God expressing God. But it's not being absorbed by the universe. In other words, God is all of the universe, not just a part. Now, God had, as a spirit, gave that spirit into every living thing. But the intelligent spirit, or the intelligent cause, was reserved for the higher animals. And I use the term animals loosely because that's what you and I are. We're animal. We're not a plant. We're not a tree. We're an animal. But we're a highly evolved animal. And that brings us to the point of why we're incarnated. We're incarnated to grow spiritually, to become more godlike. And as we do that, God becomes more of what God is. Now, you might think to yourself, well, how can this be? And that's what I want you to do. I want you to think about it and think how it can be. Within you is everything in the small that God is in the large. Do you know that if you take into consideration all the stars and the planets and all the things in the celestial heavens, that if you look into your body under a powerful enough microscope, you'd see that your cells are constantly moving just like the celestial stars are, just like the planets are. Your body is not really as solid as you might think it is. It's composed of a lot of atoms and quarks and things even smaller than that, but things that are moving and constantly repairing and regenerating and being reborn and so forth and so on. And that's you, and that's God. They say that the universe is expanding. Well, why wouldn't it? God is expanding. You see, God is intelligent thinking, intelligent energy, intelligence far beyond anything you could think about. So now let's go back to the stars and your cells. Do you realize that in actuality, those cells in your body that are moving in proportion to what you see in the heavens are actually farther apart than the things that you see in the heavens? In actuality, in other words, if you take into consideration the difference in size and that type of thing. So that's what God is. Next week, we're going to talk about what you are.